Well, good afternoon and welcome to H360 Live. My name is Dave Duplay. I'm joined here in our New York studio with my friend and colleague from Healthy h360, Miss Courtland Long. Courtland, it's so good to have you here today.
Great to be here.
So the weather is finally taking a turn. It's nice out in the 70s. Yeah, and we were out at a couple of walks this past weekend.
Yeah, we were at the MS Walk. It was a beautiful day on Sunday to be out there and support the walkers.
It was. Now, on Saturday, you got out of the city for a bit and went hiking. How was that?
I sure did. Me and some friends, we took a drive up to Bear Mountain, and we hiked all around. We crossed over some of the Appalachian Trail, so now I can say that I've done that. Check it off the bucket list. It was great.
Absolutely. Getting out and get some fresh air, get out of the city, clear your head. All good stuff. Well, we have a really great show coming up this afternoon. We have Dr. Marc Rosenbaum in the studio. Now, you're going to remember him from a couple weeks back. He was talking with us all about the work that he does with autistic children and their families, and we're so glad to have him back. But today, he's going to be talking about Raw Amour, his chocolate that he has, and a new chocolate that he's got coming to the market very, very soon for diabetics, people living with diabetes, and we're really excited because some of the numbers and the tests that they've done on this product, it's getting really outstanding results, and there's nothing on the market like it. So I can't wait to get him in the studio to fill us in on what he's been up to. But Courtland, first, as always, we have a few health tips that we're going to share with our folks.
We do, but this week it's a little bit different. Rather than offer health tips, we are actually going to be debunking some of the common myths surrounding diabetes, and this is really in tune with our show today because I know that this chocolate, Raw Amour, is a very low glycemic index chocolate, so people living with diabetes can enjoy this chocolate and love their lives with it.
Yeah, well, you know how we love to debunk things, right? Because there's so much bad information out there on Dr. Google, and so we love to find these things, debunk them, and bring you the real skinny on the information.
Yes, well, myth number one is that people with diabetes should eat special diabetic foods. Now, in general, a healthy meal plan and a healthy diet is pretty much the same for anyone living with diabetes or for someone not living with diabetes. You want to make sure that you're eating foods that are low in saturated and trans fats. You want to be moderate in the salt and sugar intake, and focus your meal on lean proteins, non-starchy vegetables, and fruits. Generally, diabetic foods don't really offer any special advantages and can cost a lot more money.
Courtland, I think it's all about, and we talk about this all the time, the nutritional balance, right? And it's eating those things that, one, you enjoy, but it's a balanced diet. And you do have to watch. If you're somebody living with diabetes, you've got to be very careful. So I really like the debunking of that first one. Well, the second one I have for us is that if you have diabetes, you should only eat small amounts of starchy foods, such as bread, potatoes, and pasta. So here we go again, Courtland. I love bread and pasta. I know you do as well. Trying to have us limit that in small quantities when we sit down for a portion might be a little difficult, but everything in moderation. It doesn't mean that you're going to be eating bread and pasta every day, but you have to think about your meals, plan them out, and do the appropriate thing.
Yeah, I mean, portion sizes is really key for anyone and everyone, whether you have a condition or you don't. So I think, like you said, you really want to make sure that you're eating the appropriate portion size for your body type, your condition, and your meal plan that you are working together with a nutritionist or your doctor if you have a condition.
So portion size and frequency, right? It's important.
So myth number three is people with diabetes cannot eat sweets and chocolate. Now, I know that this myth was pervasive in my grade school. We had a couple kids in my class who were living with diabetes, and I feel so bad for them whenever we'd bring in treats for people's birthdays and things. We always had to make sure we had the unfrosted cupcakes, and come to find out now, 30 years later, that they would have been able to eat these frosted cupcakes if we had just all planned for it accordingly. So you really want to make sure that you're eating these as part of a healthy meal plan and combining it with exercise. There are no more off-limits foods for people with diabetes than there are for anyone without a health condition. And the key, like we said earlier, is small portions and save them for special occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. So Courtland, let's review one last time here, the 3 myths that we've just debunked. So we'll start in reverse order. No chocolates or sweets for those living with diabetes.
Right.
Very
and
sad.
If you have diabetes, you should only eat very small portions of starchy foods.
Yeah, or if you're living with diabetes, you should eat only special foods
Yep.
appropriate for those living with diabetes. So we hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hashtag it Real Stories. We'd love to hear from you. Well, Courtland, as always, we sent the interns out on the streets of New York, and this one is really exciting because I have to say, most of the people that they interviewed were really in tune with people living with diabetes and the things that maybe they should or should not do.
Yeah, that was a really good interview, and I know it's going to be very exciting to watch it.
Okay, well, will you join me in watching it?
Sure will.
Okay, roll the tape, guys.
Do you know anyone who's living with diabetes?
I know some people that have pre-diabetic conditions.
I do. My father has diabetes, and I also have a coworker who has diabetes.
My best friend from my childhood used to have type 1 diabetes.
Unfortunately, at the moment, I do not know anyone with diabetes.
Okay. All right, so the next question is, what are some challenges that someone who's living with diabetes would have in terms of their diet?
In terms of living with their diet, I know that sugar and salt is in a lot of food. So I would guess that a lot of the things that we have, they cannot have at the moment, and they will have to be able to measure their own health instead of, people who do not have the health issues.
I think it has to do with, you really have to watch your sugar intake. I know that they have to measure their insulin levels.
Well, there's a lot of things that my dad wants to eat that he can't eat, and I find that very funny.
Yeah.
But it's like, I also feel bad because it's just like, he's just a regular person. He just wants to be able to having fun and enjoy his life. But it does kind of halt him in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they have to watch their glucose levels, so they have to be really careful about what kind of pasta they eat and how much, and then also they can't drink too much alcohol.
Yeah.
Other than that, I guess just watch the glucose levels, even if you have an insulin pump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great that you brought that up. So the next question is, for someone who's living with diabetes, what foods do you think that they should avoid?
I guess, mostly bread.
Lots of very sugary sweets, stuff like that. I know my father tries to avoid soda and a lot of candy and cakes and cookies and stuff like that.
Oatmeal, granola bars, honey.
Probably processed foods, which we all should probably be avoiding. Like Cheetos and stuff that's got lots of fats and oils and processed ingredients that we can't pronounce.
Yeah. For someone who's living with diabetes, do you think that they should have chocolate in their diet?
Well, I think maybe dark chocolate because that's the healthiest chocolate that you can have, but in moderation, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can have some. It'd be really sad if they couldn't.
If it's dark chocolate, possibly, if their doctor tells them to, but other than that, I don't think any chocolate would be good for them.
Yeah, why not? Different chocolates are made different ways. So, really processed things that are full of extra little solids and fillers are things like Hershey's and Reese's and stuff that's kind of over the counter, I think. But there are also really high-level cacao products.
Well, Courtland, what'd you think?
That was an excellent interview. A lot of people really knew some of our myths that we debunked about diabetes, that you can still eat a lot of the foods you want to eat.
Absolutely, and most everyone knew somebody either currently living with diabetes or, as the one girl said, she knows a few people that are pre-diabetic.
Yeah, she sure does. And I really want to call attention to Diabetic Danica, one of our members on Healthy h360. She puts out a ton of videos about just kind of living a normal life with diabetes, and you can still do everything you want to do, eat everything you want to eat. You just have to exercise appropriately and make sure that you're bolusing appropriately for your diabetes for all your meals and your snacks.
Yeah, she's got great videos out there. So once again, the interns did a great job. The people from New York out in Bryant Park, they really have their act together. They know what's going on in the area of nutrition and those living with diabetes. Well, Courtland, our favorite time of the show, Dr. Marc Rosenbaum is in the studio. And I want to go over just a couple of tips here, or actually data points, before we get Dr. Marc in here about the nutritional value of raw cocoa, because it really is astounding to me. So here we go. Out of all the whole foods that contain antioxidants, raw cocoa is the highest in the world. 2 tablespoons of chocolate, which equals 1 ounce, has more antioxidants than 4 cups of green tea. Point number 2, raw chocolate contains several compounds that stimulate the production of serotonin and dopamine, which helps enhance one's mood or emotional state. And scientists have found that cocoa polyphenols can positively affect blood glucose levels, almost messed that one up there, and anti-inflammatory and antioxidant compounds help protect the brain and support mental health and cognitive function. So all the way around, Courtland, raw cocoa is very, very beneficial for you. Well, Dr. Marc, thanks for coming back in the studio.
Pleasure to see you again.
So we have so many things we want to go through today, a little bit about your background, but more importantly, the work that you're doing with your chocolate.
Great.
Well, Dr. Marc, again, thank you so much for coming in. We have a lot of members on our site who are living with diabetes or pre-diabetes, or just want to know more about nutrition in general, and I know you know quite a bit about nutrition. So can we start with having you tell us about the history and mission of Raw Amour Chocolate and what makes it so unique?
Well, you know, about 3 years ago, we saw a need for a product such as this. What makes it unique is that every ingredient in it is really, really the finest. There's no consideration of cost for ingredients. It's raw chocolate, which to me is very important. There's no dairy in it. There's no refined sugar. There's no GMOs. It's gluten-free. It's low calories, 47 calories per truffle. We try to cover every base, and it really tastes good. So I know I sound like a salesman, but in developing it, we really took all those things into consideration.
So now your diet is of raw food.
Yeah, it is now. A few years ago, I was raw food for like a couple of years, then I got off, and now I'm back on it again. Yeah,
Yep.
I like that.
So how did that diet influence the development of the chocolate that you have on the market today?
Well, I just think that it could be a paleo diet, it could be a raw food diet, it could be any kind of diet that's conscious. You really don't want to be eating refined sugar. A lot of people have a problem with dairy. A lot of people have a problem with refined soy. Raw to me is really important. Raw dairy, I drink like raw goat's milk. I really like it, and it tastes really good. And what I'm told that like raw cow's milk, the people who are lactate deficient and have problems with milk, they can drink raw milk. So it's just, there's something about it that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good, and I don't think it's for everybody. I don't, but I know for me it's really good, and I know for a lot of people, and like that.
So let's stick with this whole raw food thing for a second,
yeah.
because I've got a little follow-up question here.
Yeah.
So the food industry, if we're saying that raw food is better for you and raw milk is, can be consumed by people who are lactose intolerant,
Right.
for example, I mean, how did we get to the point where we're at today from kind of shying away from those raw foods?
Well, first of all, to be on a raw food diet, it takes work. It's not, I don't just eat salad. So I have a dehydrator, I make crackers, I make cereal. So if you really want to do it so it's interesting at all, yeah, it takes a lot of labor, it takes a lot of work. If you go into a health food store and you buy crackers and things like that, you see it's expensive. Raw cheese is a lot more expensive than regular cheese. And the food industry really calls the shots. It's a billions and billions and billions of dollars, and just the processing to do something. I mean, you take a place like Pennsylvania, you can buy raw cheese there. You can buy raw milk. You can't even buy it in New York State. I have to go and work a thing out with a co-op in Pennsylvania even to get it. There's not a lot of money. I guess it doesn't generate the kind of income that the food at McDonald's does, or just regular milk or whatever. It's the profit margin isn't there. most people don't even know about it. It's kind of, I think it's pretty complex. I think there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, last time we had you on the show, we spoke with you about your program, Education for Excellence.
Yes.
And I know that some of the profits from Raw Amour go to help fund Education for Excellence.
Definitely.
So can you share with us how the profits to that have helped to expand your program?
Well, the program has been in the schools for 23 years now. And we've trained over 5,000 parents and teachers, and we do train the trainer work now. Basically, we train the people in schools that work with parents. And again, we saw a need for that. It's consciousness work, mindfulness work with adults. It's based on the home environment. And yeah, it's helped me get it out there, really. I mean, to start a product, it takes a lot of work. With the packaging, the internet, with just getting it into stores. It takes a lot of work. And the work we do in education has supported it. And what we're doing now, I'm still doing that work in the public schools, but the next level is working with parents of autistic children. And we're doing that now. And that's a whole new thing. It's really exciting for me because the work we started with was based on a need to really look at the home environment and how that really affects a child's upbringing. I think everybody would admit and see if they reflected it, how they were raised and the environment they were raised in had a lot to do with who they are now. And the need for autistic parents, once I started getting familiar with that community, is just incredible. They have a lot of challenges.
So speaking of packaging,
Yes.
We understand that the Center for Independent Living
Yeah.
is collaborating with you,
yeah.
right?
It's really exciting. I mean, we have a new product coming out, but the basic product, which is peppermint coffee, plain raw organic chocolate, they're truffles. It has been out there for about 3 years now, and now we've developed a chocolate for diabetics and pre-diabetics, a low glycemic chocolate. And we're really excited. And the packaging is going to be done for at the Center for Independence in New Jersey. So it's really great. It's high school people with autism, young adults with autism are going to be involved with the packaging and sending out of this product, and it's really a win-win because the whole idea really of what's being done in the autistic community is to get these people independent, get them out into the community, and this will help. We're also going to have, they're also going to go to farmers markets. We're going to have them go to farmers markets, so they're out there with the public, and it's going to be really neat. And I'm really excited about that. And the need is really there again to get these people more active, doing things that are really constructive, being creative, and it's going to be great.
So you said coffee, peppermint, and what was the third one?
The original one.
The original.
Plain,
Okay,
right.
so here we have, you brought us in, you were so kind to bring us in some of the coffee flavor, and I don't know if we can see that at home, but this is a great product. And I just want to, if I can, sample a little piece of this because I think our audience wants to know, what this tastes like.
Good.
So, Courtland, do you want one as well?
Sure, actually, I have peppermint here.
Oh, you're going to have peppermint.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the coffee flavor. So, Dr. Mark, you going to have one as well? No?
Right now.
All right.
Not right now.
Well, while we're eating these, can you maybe tell us, over the 3 years, how has your formula changed? How did you really come up with it?
How did I come up with it? Well, it came up several years ago. I was living in LA, and LA has a really big raw food community, biggest in the world. And somebody gave me a recipe for a tort, and that was raw. And they gave me permission. They said, fine, you could use this and whatever. And I did it, and I developed it, and I gave it to my friends who were raw and people who really liked good food. And everybody liked it, and it was great. And then I came back here to New York, and I started giving it to people who smoked, drank, my mechanic who works on my car, people like that, and they loved it. They never tasted, they never had chocolate, real chocolate. They were used to Hershey's and stuff like that. And that really started the ball rolling. And we started, and it started off, it was in a deli container, and it was cut up, just cut up into pieces, and And it just kept on growing. It kept on growing and growing. Now we're in Whole Foods. We're in Dean and DeLuca. We're in some health food stores, some specialty food stores. So it just keeps on growing, and it's pretty exciting. I had to change the packaging grew over time. It's a refrigerated product, so it's kind of, there's considerations that go on for that. And now we're at the level of where this product is out there, and now the low glycemic, this is low glycemic, by the way, very low glycemic, but what we developed is really low glycemic.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh, well, I have to say, I mean, it's the coffee flavored one is fantastic.
Yeah, it's made from a steam distilled coffee extract. The extract is, I've never found anything that comes close to that.
Wow. So tell me, you know, there's a lot of chocolate products on the market.
Yeah.
So what makes some of the other chocolate products so unhealthy?
Well, you know, I don't like bashing somebody else's product, but since I'll give you from a scientific point of view.
Sure.
First of all, you started talking about the antioxidant qualities of chocolate, which are, we've done ORAC studies, which is the federal test for antioxidants. We're higher than any raw, organic or commercial chocolate out there. So I'm a scientist. I was a dentist for many years. And so I really check things out. So raw chocolate compared to processed chocolate is a big difference in the antioxidant quality. Dairy combined with chocolate ties up a lot of the beneficial qualities. Belgian chocolate, I can't remember the name of it, but they alkalinize their chocolate. There's a process that they use to alkalinize it, and that takes away a lot of the antioxidants. If you read the research that's done on chocolate, they'll really talk about raw chocolate, yeah, and then some of the research tells you why, but I'm citing some of it for you.
Did you have any difficulties trying to reach a wider audience with the Raw Amour chocolates, and do you have any sort of enlightening lessons that you learned from it?
Oh, well, that's interesting. It's tough. Anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur and really go out and develop a product, it's not easy. It's really, you gotta, one thing is filling out forms, like Whole Foods. I mean, they had forms and forms and forms. They accept your product. They go, okay, we want this. They don't accept every product, but they accept it, and then it starts. It's forms and forms, and I'm not good at that, but I have to do it. So that was a real learning curve.
Yeah.
What have I learned? It's been a real learning curve for me. I come from, like I said, I was a professional. I was a doctor for many years. So it's a whole new ball game. It's a whole new learning curve. There's just a lot. It's dealing with raw ingredients. You know, ours is like 95% raw. Not only raw chocolate, but we use coconut oil that's raw organic. There's a real difference when you use raw organic. There's a real difference, and this product is that. But the suppliers are smaller. Everything gets shipped from California. Most of it gets shipped from California, and I pay a fortune in shipping. Fortune in shipping. It keeps on going up and up and up. I think that's a big lesson. If you can get more local, not that the chocolate's made in California, because it's not made. Our chocolate's made in Ecuador, but that's where the big suppliers are for anything raw and organic. So that was a big lesson.
So you've worn a lot of hats over the years.
Yeah.
And it seems like, you know, one common denominator through it is kind of health, right?
Yeah,
you were a dentist, and now you're into, you know, the raw foods and the organic chocolate and the raw
and the
Amour.
mental health of people also.
And the mental health of people.
With our education.
Right. Do you think it's, and I look at that, and while the common denominator is health, they're wildly different things, you know, from doing dentistry to now making chocolate.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something in your personality that drives you to do these, you know, kind of exciting things and gravitate toward different areas?
Yeah, I'd say lunacy is a quality. Well, you know, the research shows, and I think I'm right on this, I might be, it sounds like a lot, but a child born today will have 11 different professions in their life, 11 different careers, you know, or focuses. when I was born, a lot of people, they get a job and they move up through the ranks and that's where they stay, and that was pretty common. I mean, yeah. The question is, it was in my personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you a really quick story to answer that question. I did my residency at a hospital, a VA hospital in Downey, Illinois, and the idea of it was, you go through the hospital system and they want you to stay there and be a hospital dentist. So it was the last day. I go into the office and the person goes, do you want to come on with us? Do you want to be a dentist? And I said, no, not really. And they said, well, why? And I said, well, because, it just really doesn't suit my personality. It doesn't, it just doesn't suit me to do this, 9 to 5, blah, blah. He looks on his list and he says, oh, that's not on our list. And I said, well, that's why I don't want to be here. It's like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I move with, and I try, I don't want to sound like, I go into something and then, I'm really, I do it, and then I go to something else and I do. I think we do really, I'm very proud of what I've done in each of those fields. And I just try to be true to myself and know when dentistry was over for me, it was over.
Yeah.
And, I knew I had to move on, and it was a big step.
Yep. But your point's well taken. I mean, my father had one job, right? He started with a company, out of school, went to work, and he retired from that company.
Yeah.
And it's really not that way anymore.
No, not as much.
Yeah, not as much.
Yeah.
So I have to say, I love your Facebook page. You have these awesome videos of people trying your chocolate for the very first time.
Oh, yeah, you saw that. Yeah, it's cool, huh?
Yeah. Do you have any reactions that are sort of your favorite, when people are like, oh my God, this is awesome?
I had, it's interesting. I had, just recently, we were up in Danbury doing a demo, and I had a little kid, and I'm telling you because it's not on the website because I messed it up. I forgot to do something, so it wasn't there. The people left, and I go, oh man. But it was a little kid. It was really very real, and little children love this chocolate. It's really interesting with chocolate. Like at Whole Foods, kids, they like have, radar, man. They come, I could be on the other side of the store and they know I'm there, and they just start gravitating. And it's not just me, it's chocolate. They like chocolate, kids like chocolate. But they really love this, I'm not trying to be a salesman, I'm just telling you the truth. They really love this chocolate, really young children too. And it's very rich, so it kind of surprises me, but they like it.
Okay, so here's the question.
Yeah.
Where can we find your chocolate? And how can, you've got a new product that's not on the market that's really important stuff.
Yeah.
And so how can people get in touch with you to learn
great.
when that comes to the market and where they can find it?
The website is rawamour.com. Raw, R-A-W, amour, like the French amour, A-M-O-U-R.com, rawlove.com. And my email is info, I-N-F-O, at rawamour.com. So you want to know how they can find it. Well, it's sold at the DeLuca, it's sold at Whole Foods in Connecticut. It's sold in some health food stores here. It's sold in upstate. It's sold in New Jersey. But it's not all over the place. But if you went to the website, you see where it was sold. And, I'm an old guy. So marketing through social media has not been my thing. But it's becoming my thing because it's really important. So we're really at just getting there with social media. So you're going to be able to buy it online. Hopefully, I'd say in about 3 weeks. And so if you want to buy it online, all you have to do is send me an email at info@rawamour.com, and as soon as it gets up there, I'll let you know, and you can purchase it. I'm really excited about the new product. It's the only. What we did was we went to Albany Medical Center, and they did research on it with live people pricking your finger, testing it out every 15 minutes compared to a blind sample, and they were blown away by the results. Basically ours comes out as a glycemic index of 6. Anything that's below 55 is low glycemics. Ours is 6, and if you look at the graph of it, the body doesn't even recognize it as a sugar. It doesn't do anything. It does very, very little to the blood sugar level. So this is not this product, it's a new formula. It's the only certified low glycemic organic chocolate out there. There's not even any chocolate, I don't think, that's certified low glycemic. I'm pretty sure of that, but ours is organic. So the reason I developed it, because there's sweets out there for people with diabetics or pre-diabetics. It has artificial sweeteners, which upset your stomach. It's not much refined sugar, but I would never use refined sugar. So it's all organic, and again, it tastes really good, and I'm real excited about it. I'm real excited about it, and that'll be out. You'll be able to get that over the internet probably in about 3 weeks. But if you want it, if you really want it, it's info@rawamour.com.
Well, Doc, thanks for coming in. I wish you all the best, and
Thank
come
you.
back and let us know how it's going. And we're going to look, we're going to keep our eyes peeled for the shipment coming into the office.
Well, you'll get some.
We'll sample it. We'll
Oh,
put a
yeah.
video out there for
Great.
you. But
Great. Thank
doing,
you.
You're doing great stuff. So thanks
Thank
once
you.
again for coming in. I'd like to thank our viewers for tuning in, and I have to thank our sponsors for making this all possible. Remember, all of our episodes can be viewed on demand at healthy360.com, and our podcast can be found in the iTunes Store.
Well, we love social media, and we're all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest using the hashtag #RealStories when posting. We'd greatly appreciate it if you would do the same. On behalf of Dave Duplay, myself, and the entire Healthy 360 family, we'd like to thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next week when we're chatting with Dr. Sophie all about plastic surgery solutions for dog bites and scar management.